This follows up with what the other woman was asking. The homeless and street-involved people who stay in that area, what will happen to them and when? That live and sleep on the street down?
The Streets to Home staff are currently identifying those people and providing services to them now to try to get them into better housing situations, as is the practice. But they're focusing in particular in this area because of the impending security blanket that'll be here, and also the difficulty they'll have accessing some of the services they require. During the month of June, those services will again be revisited to those people. The good news is hopefully the Housing Referral Center will finally be opened at that point, which puts the service closer to the actual space where it's needed most critically at this juncture. But it will be that program of trying to coach people into better situations and into safer situations and make sure they get the services they need. Again, it'll be handled by the Streets to Home staff, not by police. There will not be a sweeping of the streets that has accompanied other summits in other parts of the world. This is going to be handled hopefully in respectful and as efficient a way as possible, but will not be violating human rights if that's the concern.
Okay, and one more quick question. If someone was to decide to go close to the fence and hold up a sign or decorate it, make it look a little nicer or something like that, maybe a message for people inside, how would that be taken? Is it okay to be close to the fence? Is there a zone outside of the fence you're not allowed to stand in, that kind of thing?
As I said, you can pass through the fence line. Like I said, if you have a purpose, you're going to be asked by police. If you're peaceably demonstrating and sending a message, that's your God-given right in this country, and I respect that.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Anna. Next, please.
Hi. It's been reported that up to 1,000 private security officers are also going to be partaking in this security at the G20. So my question is do these private security, will they have the same powers that police have? And then also, how do we hold private security members accountable, say an abuse of power situation arises?
I can't really disclose police strength and other people that are being utilized, but I can tell you this. Police officers, again, like internationally protected people, are a very crystal clear designation in law in this country, and only they have the special powers and authority to do things, and private security don't have those powers. And if they are utilized, they have been used at the Olympics and that, they're being very different roles than the actual police roles, and they'll be held accountable.
Can you discuss kind of what level the private security will be used? Is it just more?
Unfortunately, no, I can't.
I see. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The news report to which you're speaking, I think it was posted on the federal government website as a procurement for a contract for services, and I think it spoke to 1,300 security guards that would be primarily doing wanding duties. That's the public disclosure based on the contract that was being let. That's the extent of the information that we have. And beyond that, you're not going to get details like that out of a forum like this.
Right. Thank you.
But I think that it's clear that policing duties will be only done by police officers, and they're sworn officers.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Olivia Chow, your local MP. You couldn't see me, Councillor McConnell.
I can see you,
Thank you for
Olivia.
organizing this event. It just really gave a lot of information and continue to give a lot of information to all the local residents. I have a petition circulating because I've raised the question that this G20 really should be at CNE in the first place rather than Metro Convention Center. The Harper Conservative ignored it. And then we've been trying to get the information. I'm glad we have this session. I also raised the importance of posting a bond, which is Councillor Vaughan's motion at City Hall that passed. We raised that question. Stockwell Day at a subcommittee said, at a standing committee, said that he would consider that. That's why there's a petition. I need everybody's help to push harder to say that having a bond is the way to go, because my worry is that the businesses and residents won't be compensated properly. So also we need to remind the Harper Conservative that they can't completely ignore Toronto's need and the local residents' needs, because we're putting up with a whole lot. So let me know if there's other informations, any other public meetings. I'll help promote it as much as I can.
The concern we have, and thank you, Olivia, for forwarding our concerns in Ottawa on our behalf. The concerns we have is that Quebec City, as an example, is still negotiating for compensation for private property owners who had damage done either to their homes, their cars, their businesses, what have you. They're still negotiating 8 years later, and it's a serious concern. So what we're hoping to do is have the federal government at least post a bond equivalent to what they've spent and committed in Quebec City, that compensation will be managed by City Hall, and we can get the compensation out much more quickly. As a result, we won't have to go through a long process. But so far, despite Stockwell Day's commitment to consider it, we have not made much progress in that, but we continue through the mayor's office to press.
So the check is not yet in the mail.
Or the envelope.
Yes, that's right. But I think thank you, Olivia, for bringing that forward, but I think also Councillor Vaughan was very instrumental in drawing attention to this by council, and council was pretty unanimous in their resolve around this particular issue. We had serious problems trying to get sign-off from the federal government, particularly when they were prorogued, and it was a very serious issue for us because we could not get any agreements. So we think this is the way to go, and we have been very strong about doing that. And as you've heard from Adam, the mayor's office has been very aggressive in this particular part of the conversation. But really, I just wanted to give some credit to Adam because he brought it forward. And, you know, for many of the suburban councillors, they had not even thought of it. So it was very useful for us to educate all of council around what it was that the downtown burden would be. And, of course, many of them often say, you downtowners get everything, and we could offer them perhaps a little part of the summit, and just to make it all fair.
They say that Toronto, the fat cat Toronto, always get everything, right? So
right.
We need to voice our concerns.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Hi. You mentioned that there's going to be 2 specific security zones, the red zone and the not red zone. And within the not red zone, there's potential for these security gates with the voluntary passes and the large lineups, and knock on wood, if there's a security issue, these gates will close. So my question to you is, what is the plan if these gates close and I happen to be inside the gate?
Well, as I said at our last meeting, you're going to be one of the safest people in Toronto. However,
I'm inside the gates.
That's right, inside. You're in with us.
Whatever the reason is that the gate's closed.
Right. If there is a very significant threat and the gates are closed, that threat has to be eliminated. We understand getting people out. We will do so as quickly and as safely as possible. But in the meantime, we have to do our job, which is to protect these dignitaries and internationally protected people. But we will be getting out, obviously. And that's about as much as I can tell you, because it will be, there's so many variables for a situation like that, I couldn't possibly answer that standing here.
I think that what I'd like to say, both Adam and I are on the Police Services Board, so we don't do the operations, but we do the policy, but we also work very closely with the deputies and with Chief Blair. And I would say that of all of the opportunities, that we have a pretty incredible senior command who are aware of all of these things, who perhaps have had a summit in the past, and also who have managed pretty remarkably some pretty major demonstrations. So I think that it isn't that they aren't planning it, they're probably over planning it, but it's not a wise idea for all of us to talk about it. But they will have gone through millions of scenarios, and they will have solutions for all of those scenarios. And they will go through those processes. So it isn't that nobody's thinking about it, it's that everybody is thinking about it, and they're thinking very carefully about it, but they don't want to, it's not something that everyone needs to talk about.
You can also say that the different city services, in the event of something which is unpredictable, there has been a great deal of work since 9/11 across the different city services, and you can see it in the Sunrise propane explosion and other events like that, and the Queen Street fire as well, which were learning experiences in how to deal with evacuation, how to deal with the mobilization of services of social nature, of soft services, to provide to help people both inside affected areas but also trying to get out of affected areas. And so the city's knowledge and management skills in those areas has improved vastly over the last few years, and these issues are being considered, but the preparations, until we know what the event is, it's really hard to answer the question with great detail.